Did you know that something as simple as an egg, so often praised for its nutritional richness, can become a hidden burden when paired incorrectly, especially after the age of 60? As we grow older, our bodies change. The same meals we once enjoyed without concern may now speak to us differently, more subtly, through fatigue, discomfort, or imbalance. Eggs are a powerful source of nourishment, yes, but when combined with certain other foods, their benefits can quietly diminish, leaving behind only strain for the digestive system, confusion in nutrient absorption, and in some cases, risk for the heart. Recent studies suggest that nearly 4 in 10 seniors are unintentionally making these missteps, not out of negligence, but simply out of habit. The good news is awareness brings choice, and choice brings change. In the moments ahead, I will walk you through a few food combinations that deserve more mindfulness. When we learn how to eat with wisdom, even something as ordinary as an egg can become a daily act of healing. Let us begin with the first pairing that may be doing more harm than good. First, avoid combining eggs with soy milk. There is a quiet misunderstanding that lingers in many breakfast routines, especially among those who seek nourishment through wholesome plant-based choices. For many, the pairing of a boiled egg with a warm cup of soy milk may feel like a healthy start to the day, simple, light, and comforting. But often, what seems harmonious on the surface may not serve the body well beneath it. As we age, the digestive fire that once handled many combinations with ease begins to soften. Our system no longer welcomes everything without question, and so we are called to listen more closely, to pay attention not only to what we eat, but how and with what it is combined. Soy milk contains compounds known as trypsin inhibitors. These natural substances are designed by the soybean to protect itself, but in the human body, they have a different effect. They interfere with trypsin, an enzyme essential for digesting protein. Eggs, of course, are rich in high-quality protein. When soy milk and eggs meet in the digestive tract, the trypsin inhibitors in soy milk can block the breakdown of egg proteins. This interaction may seem small, but it can create a ripple effect. The result is often felt as bloating, discomfort, or sluggish digestion. For a younger person, these sensations might pass unnoticed, but for those of us beyond 60, the body speaks more clearly and more frequently. What once was a silent imbalance can now manifest as heaviness after eating or as nutrients passing through the body without ever being absorbed. The liver too must work harder when digestion is incomplete. And for seniors, especially those managing chronic conditions like fatty liver or diabetes, this subtle pressure on the organs can slowly accumulate. The body asks for less complexity, more clarity, less friction, more ease. But this is not a call for restriction. It is a call for rhythm. There is wisdom in spacing foods thoughtfully. If you enjoy soy milk, consider having it at a different time than your eggs, perhaps as an afternoon beverage or alongside a small fruit-based snack. Allow the body time to focus on one task at a time, just as the mind performs best when not distracted. It is not about fearing food. It is about respecting digestion. When we bring that respect to the table, each meal becomes a form of mindfulness. And even the smallest choices, like separating soy milk and eggs, become acts of healing. Let us continue with the next combination that calls for our awareness. Second, avoid combining eggs with sugar, especially when heat is involved. In the quiet warmth of a kitchen, there are moments when we reach for comfort. Perhaps an old family recipe, a sweetened steamed egg, or a traditional remedy mixing egg with honey. These combinations are often rooted in care. But good intentions do not always mean good outcomes, especially when age and physiology change the way our bodies respond. The moment egg proteins meet sugar under heat, a chemical transformation occurs, one that is invisible to the eye, but deeply significant to the body. This reaction is called glycation. It produces compounds known as advanced glycation end products or AGEs. Despite their benign name, These molecules are far from harmless. They create a kind of internal stickiness, binding to tissues, promoting inflammation, and placing a quiet burden on the liver. For younger individuals, the body may still buffer this effect. But for those of us in our later decades, when the liver is already filtering medications, metabolic waste, and accumulated toxins, this extra stress can tip the balance. In particular, seniors living with liver concerns, diabetes, or metabolic issues may find that this sugar-protein pairing further complicates their body's healing rhythm. I often say, sweetness is not the enemy, but misplaced sweetness can be. When we apply high heat to both sugar and protein, we ask the body to untangle a knot it was never meant to face. And digestion, already slower with age, now wrestles with compounds that resist breakdown. What follows may be discomfort, bloating, or a lingering heaviness that we sometimes dismiss as normal aging. But perhaps it is not aging, perhaps it is accumulation. This does not mean we must reject sweetness altogether. The path of wisdom is not in extremes, but in attention. If you enjoy honey, have it gently stirred into warm tea, not cooked into eggs. If a dessert brings joy, let it be occasional, not habitual. Let the body breathe between indulgences as you would between thoughts in meditation. Food, like life, is about timing and context. When egg and sugar are consumed separately at different times in moderate amounts, the body responds with gratitude. But when they are fused together under high heat, it often pays a price that is not immediately seen, yet deeply felt. Each bite we take after 60 becomes more than nourishment, it becomes a message. Let that message be one of clarity, not confusion. And with that clarity, let us now turn to the next food pairing that quietly calls for our understanding. Third, avoid combining eggs with strong tea. For many, the morning begins with silence, a warm meal, and the comfort of a familiar cup of tea. It is a ritual that feels grounding, a moment of stillness before the demands of the day arise. And often, that cup of tea is enjoyed alongside breakfast, perhaps a simple plate of eggs. On the surface, it appears harmless, even peaceful. But the body, especially after 60, receives that pairing with less ease than we might expect. Strong teas, particularly black or green varieties, contain tannins, natural compounds that give tea its astringency, its sharpness. Tannins, however, are not passive. They bind. Specifically, they bind with proteins and minerals in food, forming insoluble compounds that the body struggles to absorb. Eggs, being rich in both protein and nutrients like iron and zinc, are particularly affected. When we consume strong tea immediately after eggs, these tannins create a chemical embrace, one that prevents the body from accessing the nourishment it needs. Over time, this leads not only to poor nutrient absorption, but also to digestive disturbances. Seniors may notice bloating, constipation, or a general heaviness that lingers after meals. And these signs, though subtle, are not to be ignored. For those with sensitive digestion or compromised gut function, a common reality in later life, this interaction can further hinder the delicate balance of the internal system. Iron, already more difficult to absorb with age, becomes even less available. Zinc, essential for immunity and healing, is blocked. Even B vitamins may slip through unused. There's another layer to this story, caffeine. Found in both black and green tea, caffeine increases stomach acid. While this may seem helpful for digestion, it can actually lead to discomfort, especially in those prone to acid reflux or indigestion. Caffeine also speeds up digestive transit, giving the body less time to extract nutrients. In the quiet choreography of digestion, speed is not always strength. So, what can we do? The answer is not to abandon tea altogether. Tea, like any food or drink, is not inherently harmful. It simply needs a better place in the rhythm of our meals. If you enjoy tea, allow a pause between it and your eggs. Let the body complete one task before beginning another. A space of even 45 to 60 minutes can make a meaningful difference. Or consider herbal infusions, peppermint, fennel, or chamomile. These are gentle companions to digestion, soothing rather than competing. They allow the body to receive nourishment without interruption. Our goal is not perfection, but presence. With each meal, each sip, we ask, is this serving me or simply a habit? In that question lies the wisdom of aging well. Let us move forward now with the same curiosity toward the next food combination. Fourth, avoid combining eggs with processed meats. There is a certain familiarity in the American breakfast. The sizzling sound of bacon, the golden yolk of fried eggs, the comforting aroma that fills the morning air. For many, this combination is not just food. It is memory, tradition, even affection passed from one generation to the next. And yet, tradition does not always equal wisdom, especially when the body begins to age and ask for gentler nourishment. Processed meats like bacon, sausage, and smoked ham carry a complex burden. While they may delight the senses, they are also dense in saturated fats, cholesterol, and sodium. On their own, they pose challenges for the aging body. But when combined with eggs, a food that is already rich in dietary cholesterol, the load becomes heavier. This combination may not cause harm immediately, but over time, its effects accumulate. Arteries stiffen, blood pressure rises, and inflammation subtly weaves itself into the fabric of daily life. For seniors, particularly those with a history of heart conditions, high cholesterol, or metabolic syndrome, this pairing quietly undermines the health they work so hard to maintain. Beyond fats, processed meats contain preservatives like nitrates and nitrites. These compounds are used to extend shelf life and enhance color, but when exposed to heat during cooking, they can form substances that the body must work harder to eliminate. The liver, already taxed by age and medication, is given yet another task, and digestion does not escape untouched. The high fat content of both eggs and processed meats can slow gastric emptying, leading to feelings of heaviness, fatigue, and poor nutrient absorption. What begins as a simple breakfast becomes a metabolic challenge, one that the older body is not always equipped to manage gracefully. Does this mean you must give up every favorite meal from your youth? Not necessarily. The path forward is not one of denial, but of discernment. Perhaps save bacon for an occasional indulgence, or better yet, replace it with healthier protein options, grilled mushrooms, avocado slices, or a few pieces of steamed fish. These alternatives offer flavor without compromise. If processed meats still hold a special place in your ritual, space them away from eggs. Let the body digest one rich food at a time. This small shift can lighten the internal load without stripping joy from the meal. Aging well is not about removing pleasure. It is about honoring the body's changing needs with compassion. With every bite, we can choose presence over habit, care over convenience. Let us now continue to the next pairing, a combination that, though often seen as harmless, may be quietly challenging the body's balance. Fifth, avoid combining eggs with greasy, deep-fried foods. There is a certain satisfaction that comes from the crisp texture of fried food, the golden edges of potatoes, the crunch of toast soaked in butter, or the indulgent pleasure of deep-fried bread beside a sunny-side-up egg. In moments of hunger or nostalgia, these pairings feel irresistible. But in the body, particularly the aging body, they are often received with resistance rather than welcome. When eggs, already a source of natural fat, are combined with greasy, deep-fried foods, the body is asked to process an overload of oil and density. The digestive system, which slows with age, struggles to manage such meals. What follows is not simply fullness, but fatigue, heaviness that lingers not only in the stomach, but sometimes in the mind and mood as well. Excess oils, especially when repeatedly heated in fast food preparation, are unstable. They generate compounds that promote inflammation, oxidative stress, and cellular strain. For seniors who may already be managing joint pain, cardiovascular issues, or insulin resistance, this combination adds pressure to an already delicate balance. Beyond the immediate burden on digestion, greasy meals also interfere with nutrient absorption. The body becomes so focused on breaking down fat that it struggles to extract the vitamins, minerals, and amino acids within the eggs. What is meant to nourish becomes diluted by difficulty. And still, I understand there is comfort in these foods. There is memory. But what if comfort could be found elsewhere, in warmth, in simplicity, in meals that feel light and sustaining, rather than heavy and draining? Instead of pairing eggs with fried potatoes or oily toast, consider gentler companions: steamed vegetables, a slice of whole grain bread toasted, or a small portion of avocado for healthy fat. These choices not only complement the egg's nutrition, but also support the body's natural rhythm. If fried foods are part of your tradition, save them for rare occasions. And when you do enjoy them, do so with awareness, knowing how to support your body before and after through hydration, movement, and balance in later meals. Our digestion is not just a mechanical process. It is a conversation between the food we eat and the wisdom of the body. When that conversation becomes too loud, too oily, too rushed, we stop hearing the subtle signals that guide us toward health. In this stage of life, we are called not to reject pleasure, but to redefine it. A light meal that leaves you clear-headed, energized, and pain-free is a deeper pleasure than momentary indulgence, one that stays with you longer and moves with you through the day. Let us now move toward the final food pairing, one that appears harmless, even refreshing, but may disturb the inner balance when timed poorly. Sixth, avoid combining eggs with acidic fruits like oranges or citrus juice immediately after eating. There are mornings when we seek freshness: a glass of orange juice to brighten the meal, a slice of grapefruit to awaken the senses. These habits are often seen as healthy, and indeed, citrus fruits hold many benefits. But when they are consumed immediately after a protein-rich meal like eggs, especially in the aging body, their brightness can disrupt more than they nourish. Eggs, as we know, are rich in protein. They require time and focused effort from the digestive system to be properly broken down and absorbed. That process begins gently in the stomach, where specific enzymes and acidic conditions work in harmony. But when highly acidic fruits or juices enter too soon after, that harmony is shaken. The natural acids in citrus, citric acid, ascorbic acid, interact with proteins in a way that slows or confuses digestion. For some, this may lead to bloating or discomfort. For others, it might trigger reflux, gas, or nausea. What should be a satisfying meal becomes a source of subtle distress. And with age, those signs are no longer fleeting. They linger and they speak. This effect is especially noticeable in those with sensitive stomachs, gastritis, or acid reflux. The combination of dense protein and sudden acidity creates a kind of internal turbulence. The digestive fire that once burned strong in youth now requires gentle tending, not abrupt interference. It is worth noting, citrus is not harmful in itself. In fact, it can enhance iron absorption when timed well. The issue lies not in the fruit, but in the moment it is consumed. Digestion is a rhythm. It asks for space. When we interrupt it too soon, by washing down a heavy meal with something sharp and acidic, we blur the body's ability to receive what we've just offered. A better approach is patience. Allow the body time. Let eggs be digested in peace without sudden surprises. Wait 30 minutes, perhaps an hour, before enjoying citrus. Or shift the juice to an earlier moment, before the meal when the stomach is ready for light stimulation, or much later as an afternoon refreshment. Another gentle alternative is warm water with lemon taken far before eating, or choose fruits that are lower in acidity to accompany your eggs, like steamed apples, baked pears, or ripe bananas. These support digestion rather than challenge it. In aging, we come to understand that timing is as important as choice. Food, when consumed at the wrong time, can become strain. But that same food, offered at the right moment, becomes medicine. And so we learn to pause, not just in thought, but in action. In this space of care and attention, we begin to reclaim the healing power of our meals. Now that we've explored these common but often overlooked food combinations, let us turn to something equally important: how to prepare and enjoy eggs in a way that truly supports the body after 60. There is a quiet truth we must also face. Even the most nourishing food is not meant for everyone at all times. Eggs, though rich in protein, vitamins, and healing potential, are not always the right choice for everybody, especially in certain conditions where caution becomes wisdom. If you live with advanced liver disease, your body may already struggle to filter proteins and manage metabolic waste. In such cases, even high-quality protein from eggs can place added strain on the liver's delicate balance. Moderation becomes a form of protection. For those with severe gallbladder issues, especially if the gallbladder has been removed, the digestion of fats, however modest, can become more challenging. While eggs are not excessively fatty, their yolk contains natural fats that may trigger discomfort in sensitive systems. If you've experienced allergies to eggs in the past, even mild ones, it's important to listen. Reactions can evolve with age. What once caused only mild irritation might now disturb digestion more deeply or affect immune balance. Finally, if your doctor has advised strict control of cholesterol due to complex heart conditions, it is best to follow their guidance. Every body is different. Every path to health is personal. The goal is not to fear eggs, but to approach them with awareness and to always honor the quiet signals your body offers. There is a quiet power in preparation. The way we cook our food carries meaning, not only for the body, but for the spirit as well. An egg, when handled with care, becomes more than protein. It becomes an offering of strength, simplicity, and renewal. But for those of us in the later seasons of life, how we prepare and when we consume eggs can deeply shape how the body receives their nourishment. First, the method matters. Eggs do not need complexity. In fact, they thrive in gentleness. Boiling, steaming, or poaching allows the proteins to unfold without damage. These methods keep the structure intact, making digestion smoother and nutrients more accessible. When we fry eggs in excessive oil or cook them on high heat, we risk denaturing their delicate structure. What should nourish begins to resist. The body must then work harder for less. Scrambled eggs can be kind too, when cooked slowly over low heat with a small amount of healthy fat like olive oil. This approach respects the egg's nature and honors the digestive system's limitations, especially after 60. Avoid raw eggs. Though sometimes promoted in certain traditions or diets, they carry risks: bacterial contamination, impaired protein absorption, and digestive strain. As our immune system ages, the margin for such risks narrows. Equally important is timing. Eggs are best consumed in the morning or early afternoon when digestive fire still burns steady. The body, like the sun, rises with strength and wanes with time. Eating eggs late in the evening burdens the system when it most needs to slow down and repair. Many who experience nighttime indigestion, restlessness, or heaviness after dinner unknowingly trace it back to protein-rich meals eaten too late. Eating with the rhythms of the day is not a diet, it is a form of respect. It's listening to the body's natural intelligence rather than overriding it with habit. When we align with this wisdom, food begins to heal not just tissues, but tendencies. And then there is the egg itself. Choose quality. Organic, pasture-raised, or free-range eggs often carry more nutrients, omega-3s, vitamin D, and antioxidants. Yes, they may cost a little more, but they give more in return. Just as we choose thoughts that uplift, we can choose foods that restore. Before eating, pause. Let the mind settle. Let the body anticipate nourishment. This moment of quiet before a meal, however brief, shifts the nervous system, awakens digestion, and invites presence. In the simple act of preparing and timing eggs with care, we practice more than nutrition. We practice mindfulness, and in doing so, we return to the body not as a problem to fix, but as a place to dwell with peace. Let us now explore how to bring eggs into meals with grace, pairing them with ingredients that elevate rather than interfere. There is a wisdom in food that goes beyond nutrition. When the right ingredients come together on the plate, they do more than fill the stomach. They create harmony within. With eggs, this harmony depends not just on how we cook them, but on what we invite to sit beside them. Let us begin with vegetables that are soft in texture and gentle in effect. Steamed spinach, cooked carrots, or warm zucchini provide essential minerals and fiber without overwhelming the digestive system. These vegetables support the body's rhythm, especially in older age, offering nourishment that is easy to receive. Carotenoid-rich foods like pumpkin and sweet potato are another powerful pairing. These bring natural color and warmth to the meal, and when combined with the healthy fats in eggs, their nutrients, especially those that support vision and immunity, are more easily absorbed. The richness of the yolk activates what these vegetables carry in silence. Herbs and spices play their part too. A pinch of turmeric in your morning scramble brings more than flavor. It brings a subtle anti-inflammatory benefit that supports joints and quiets the body's inner noise. Soft herbs like parsley, dill, or thyme offer minerals and help ease digestion. They remind us that the smallest things can carry the most power. For those seeking healthy fats, avocado remains a gentle and grounding partner. Its creamy texture balances the firmness of the egg, and its oleic acid supports cardiovascular health. Together, they form a meal that satisfies without excess and comforts without heaviness. Whole grains can also be supportive when chosen and portioned mindfully. A small slice of sprouted or sourdough bread, lightly toasted, offers slow-burning energy and fiber that moves through the body with ease. Unlike raw vegetables or heavy cereals, these grains keep digestion smooth and steady. Fermented vegetables like a spoonful of mild sauerkraut or kimchi can also complement eggs, especially for those looking to support gut health. Their probiotics awaken the digestive fire and promote balance in the microbiome. But like all things, they should be added in moderation. The true key to food combining lies not only in science, but in presence. Ask not just what gives you nutrients, but what gives you peace. Does this meal leave you clear or clouded, energized or sluggish? In our later years, food becomes more than fuel. It becomes a reflection of how we care. When eggs are paired with ingredients that support, not compete, the entire body feels it. And the simple act of eating becomes an opportunity to restore trust in the body's quiet intelligence. Let each bite speak softly, I am here to support you. In the quiet rhythm of daily life, food becomes more than routine. It becomes reflection. Each meal is a conversation between body and mind, between what we crave and what we truly need. And when we reach the later chapters of life, that conversation grows quieter but deeper. The body no longer asks for more, it asks for better. What we've explored today is not a diet, not a restriction, but a return to listening, to seeing eggs not simply as food, but as an invitation to care, to slow down, to make each bite meaningful. Avoiding harmful combinations, preparing with gentleness, choosing ingredients that uplift rather than weigh down. These are not complicated tasks. They are small acts of mindfulness. And it is through such small, repeated choices that health is restored, energy returns, and clarity deepens. If there is one message I leave with you, it is this: the body is not your enemy, it is your companion. It speaks in subtle ways, through digestion, through fatigue, through fullness and lightness. Learn to listen, respond with kindness. You do not need to change everything overnight. Begin with one adjustment, let it settle, then another. And slowly, without force, a new way of living unfolds, one rooted not in fear, but in wisdom. This is not about perfect meals, it is about presence. And in that presence, every simple egg becomes something more, a gesture of healing, a step toward wholeness.